welcome to another Daily Digest video. I'm Merriam, and today I'm playing a very interesting mid-range deck. This one is built with a Goryo's Vengeance engine, but not one that is bringing back Brand. We're mainly interested in bringing back Jace Vryn's Prodigy and transforming it immediately so that it stays in play, and then similarly bringing back Obsidian Ghost Council, where it can get exiled to its own ability and then stay around when it comes back. And just in a pretty typical mid-range shell with discard, removal, some card draw, playing a kind of attrition game. We've got Lingering Souls to play well with the graveyard elements of the deck. And this opening hand looks pretty good. We've got an early piece of Disruption, a Brutality that can duress or kill another creature, and then some card draw and a threat. So definitely a keep here. I do like this one copy of Shizo. It's nice with Obsidian to help you race with it. Opponent is on the play, though. Let's see what they do and how good this Fatal Push is going to be. Oof, I was going to say Forest means this push is going to be good, and then they played Oath of Nissa. I still think the push is going to be good. Hopefully we get to nab a 2-drop with it. Gain even more tempo that way. And what did we review? Felidar Guardian. So a 4C Saheeli deck. Awkward for them to start on Forest, but I'm sure they'll fix their mana eventually. Okay, Lingering Souls is a nice one to discard to either Brutality or Jace. I don't think this deck has a lot of instants and sorcery, so I'm not that interested in escalating the Brutality. I think that because they have Oath of Nissa and Saheeli Rai in their deck, and generally more creatures, there are not a lot of spells there. Maybe a few removal spells. But I'm not super familiar with these lists. Okay, there's a Fetchland Go. My Lonely Fatal Push. Okay, so we know they have Guardian in hand. I'm kind of worried about them just jamming a Saheeli here. If they do that, what is my best option? I like the idea of getting the Jace down. Even if they kill it, I have the Vengeance for it. And my way to beat a Felidar Guardian is finding a fetch land for this Fatal Push. So between Jace next turn and Charter Course, I can see 4, and my draw step, I can see 4 extra cards towards a fetch land for this push. So, yeah, I'm into just casting the Jace. But no 2-drop from our opponent. Probably see a tapped shock land off this Wooded Foothills. Imagine either Temple Garden. I'm surprised they got a green land. I guess they don't have to care about the blue-red from Saheeli because of Oath of Nissa. So that makes more sense than either red-white or red-blue. Yeah, there's a red. So, okay, no blue mana here. This looks like just a oh, I guess, yeah, the way Oath works. They don't make blue off of this. They just get to spend it as if it were blue. Okay, so they have the combo, and that is not a fetch land. What I'm trying to think of what the best ordering here for the Charter Course and Jace is. When I Charter Course, I'm going to get 2 cards in the graveyard. Jace will put a 3rd, so even if I find a fetch, that'll only be a 4th, and I wouldn't want to crack the fetch to transform anyway. Probably discarding Lingering Souls or Goryo's Vengeance no matter what I do. So I guess we can just Jace first. I don't really see a difference. Another Fatal Push. I guess that does. So here I could play Shizo and hold up both Fatal Pushes, and if they go for the combo, push my own Jace and then push their Felidar Guardian. But I do not think that is a path towards winning. Activating Jace was definitely right, because if I draw Obsidian, I can Goryo's it and kill the Saheeli, and that is another way out of the combo, so I unknowingly made the correct play. I think it's best to just go for it here and try to find a fetch land in the top 2 cards. Don't know exactly how many fetches are in the list. We've got 8, it looks like, a full set of deltas and marsh flats. So I'm not that likely to hit one with 49 cards left in my deck. So we're looking at about a 16%er, a little more, over 2 draws, which puts us at maybe a third or so. But I don't think 3 for wanting myself against this Felidar Guardian that's also going to just get an extra card off Oath of Nissa is a way to actually win the game. So let's cast this. I should have done this more quickly if I was really in the game, because doing it more quickly suggests more confidence to the opponent that I have an answer. And we need to find Useless Inquisition instead of Thoughtseize, plus another copy of Jace. So we definitely can't cast the Inquisition. I guess we'll discard the Useless Jace, hold up this black mana, and hope that's enough to detract them from going for it. They may not want to lose to a Dismember. The thing is, they get an extra card because of the Oath, so that trade isn't even that bad for them. Yeah, I think they're just slamming it here. Oh. This oddly suggests that they're maybe not going for it, because now they're going to have to blink the Saheeli. They scry to the bottom. I guess this seems like a weak play for my opponent, getting that extra activation as opposed to being able to blink the Oath. But it's going to be enough, so... sure. Yeah, I'm dead. Well, that's a slightly frustrating game because I really just needed a fetch land to be in it, or an Obsidian, really. So I had, what, 2 draws to an Obsidian and then 4 draws to a fetch land on that last turn, but just didn't hit. How do I want to play this matchup? I don't think this Brutality is very good. I don't think Settle the Wreckage is very good. I don't think Disdainful Stroke is very good. I'm kind of thinking of going towards this aggro plan with Delver of Secrets and V-Click. They're a combo deck with a good ability to sort of grind me out. I don't know what I'll be cutting other than the Brutality. I think Push, Path, and Cut are all good. My opponent did not see any of the graveyard elements of the deck, or at least any obvious graveyard elements. So they don't know to bring in answers to Goryo's Vengeance. I like Vendilion Click in the combo matchup as well. Not sure how good Counter Squall is, given that half of their combo is creatures. For the same reason, I'm not sure how good Spell Pierce is. I think I'll cut these. And I think I'll cut a Tasigur. It's like a kind of aggressive creature, but not really. And I want to leave my spell count somewhat high for Delver of Secrets. Right now it's 25. So I think for a similar reason, I want to cut another creature. And that'll be a Jace as opposed to an Obsidian, the creature that applies the least amount of pressure. So let's go for this. And yes, I would like to play first. This hand looks pretty good. Again, we're going to be able to turn one discard spell into a Jace and then go from there. We have another discard spell to play on top of that. Plenty of ways to abuse the graveyard, so yeah, easy keep. Is there any reason to not get a swamp off this Delta? Is my life total really under a lot of pressure? Maybe I should get a Watery Grave. I think it's probably just best to get Swamp. The mana requirements in this deck are not particularly high. Okay, well, they have Felidar Guardian, Bird, Oath, Path, 3 lands. think I'm just going to take the path so that my Jace lives. The rest of their hand is not very threatening. They do have Oath plus Guardian to gain a little bit of card advantage, so I could take the Oath. But I think what's going to happen is I'm going to end up Thought Seizing on my turn 3, which is before they can cast Guardian. So I'm not that worried about them blinking it, so let's just take the path. Bring their hand up here. They'll probably just go Forest Bird on their turn 1. And we'll just play Jace. So pretty scripted here. Is that the same forest? It is. Okay, another Inquisition. That's kind of interesting. If I had a third land, I'd be a lot more inclined to play the other Inquisition and take the Oath here, and then next turn Jace plus Thoughtseize, but I'm more likely to be able to play all of my stuff by Jacing on this turn, and I can probably Inquisition whatever card they get off the Oath. But there is value in them having the Oath in play because they're a Felidar Guardian deck, and it helps them, cast Saheeli without taking a ton of damage. There's the Oath. What do we find? We find Saheeli, so now I'm going to be able to Inquisition away that Saheeli. There's the Heath. Ooh, and no follow-up here. That's good. So their hand ends up being a little slow. So I'm going to start with the Inquisition, actually, because I'm almost positive I'm taking Saheeli here. Oh, wow, they have 2 Felidar Guardians. Okay. That means I can't Thoughtseize away that one. So let's loot with Jace. Ooh, Delver Secrets, eh? I do still think I want to take one Guardian. Maybe not, though, because if they find Saheeli off their Blinked Oath, I'm going to want to take that. Regardless, I'm definitely discarding this. The question is whether or not I Flashback Souls or play Delver or Delver plus Thoughtseize. I want to play Delver plus Thoughtseize because if the Delver's the most pressure, the Thoughtseize is just using my mana effectively. But taking Felidar Guardian isn't great, and I should have an extra mana next turn, most likely, and I'd really like to be able to take a Saheeli if they find it. So I think I'm actually going to make the mana inefficient play of just going for the Delver. We're going to be able to transform... Oh, I guess, actually, we're going to be able to transform this Jace next turn and flashback a discard spell. So let's just take a Guardian now and be mana efficient. So they have Island, Hallowed Fountain, Guardian. Okay. I'm glad I noticed that, so we're really going to tear their hand apart here. Red green, that makes sense with Island, Hallowed Fountain in hand. Their mana's pretty well set up here. I have a little bit of pressure now between the Souls and the Delver. I'm probably even going to just cast this Charted Course to draw 2. Yep. So they play the Island, they blink this, so we know one card in their hand, we'll have to know a second. They'll have one unknown. Voice of Resurgence, that is a good one. Okay, what do we have? Hallowed Fountain, let's not reveal that one. Not the best draw. And now I actually can't chart a course for 2 cards because none of my attacks are good. So that is awkward. How do I want to play this? I'm going to loot first. Definitely want to keep the fetch around because of the interaction with Fatal Push if I draw that. So let's discard the Hallowed Fountain and transform. I'm going to -3 on the Inquisition because The only thing that really punishes me is a third Felidar Guardian in their hand. I'd rather save the 2 life. So let's Inquisition. Oh wow, they have a Bloodbraid Elf. Well, that is incredibly punishing. Did not expect that. Ugh. I guess that means I want to flashback this Lingering Souls to protect this Jace. So let's do that. So now we're a bit on the defensive. Gonna leave this fetch up. Next turn we can use it to scry with the Delver Secrets trigger, which is nice. But we are dead if they just hit Saheeli Rai off this Bloodbraid Elf. Ugh. Did not... I just don't know this deck very well. Kind of makes... I mean, it makes sense. Just a good value card. Can help dig towards the combo. Ooh. I guess they have land 4 anyway. This lets them hit Saheeli off the Oath. Did we find it? Reflector Mage. Okay. Yeah, I assume they're going for the Bloodbraid here. We had another Oath. Okay. So, generating a lot of card advantage here, which is going to be problematic. What did we find? Another Reflector Mage. Reflector Mage is not that great against me. If they let me trade Bloodbraid for the Spirits, I certainly will. Everything going at Jace. Because if I'm able to transform the Delver and they bounce it, I can recast immediately at the very least. And I don't mind playing a longer game here. So let's make this trade. We're sort of even on total cards here at this point. But they are certainly threatening with the Felidar Guardian on the battlefield. Oh, Godless Shrine. Now I feel like I have to crack this fetch to get another card, but I really don't want to. Set up the stop. No. But yeah, it's just too worth it. If I find a push this turn, I can cast it immediately, which I would gladly do. I already have 2 blue, 2 black, and a white. I could just get the basic plains here. My opponent is a Path to Exile deck, though, so I kind of want to leave some fetches in my graveyard, and I'm not under a lot of pressure. Some fetches in my graveyard, some basics in my deck. Just off on every metric there. I'll definitely get another... I guess I'll get blue-white. So let's just get a Hallowed Fountain. Okay. Draw. We're going to be able to chart a course for 2 cards here, so we're seeing 3 cards this turn. Another Marsh Flats. This does unfortunately mean our Delver Secrets is not coming close to transforming anytime soon. Okay, that's kind of interesting. So definitely get a plus on this Guardian. Protect this Jace. I don't think this Jace actually does a whole lot. And I want to keep this fetch around both for Fatal Push reasons and for scry reasons with a Delver, and now that I'm going to be left with 1, unless my opponent rips a land, which would be very problematic. They'll both bounce both Delvers and won't be able to recast either of them. I'll only be able to get my Jace up to a 3 here, shrink one of the Reflector Mages, and then they'll still have 3 power. I guess I just cast this Jace and then it protects. So I think I am just going to keep this this Delver or this fetch land around, hold the Jace in my hand, and pass the turn. Not having found a removal spell here with 5 in my deck and 17 cards is problematic. I don't like them making red mana either. Ugh. Well, I did what I could. Yeah, I am dead. I mean, they saw a ton of cards. They had 3 Oaths and the Bloodbraid Elf, and I think they might have blinked an Oath too. Yeah, they blinked one of the Oaths off the Guardian, so they triggered Oath 4 times. The real kicker was me not thought seizing when I could have, and instead of Inquisitioning, could have taken that Bloodbraid Elf and left them with a Voice of Resurgence that this Jace handles pretty well. Instead, they dug a lot deeper into their deck. So I guess that was the mistake here. I don't know. Oh no. I wanted to see what my top cards were. Charticourse would have flipped my Delver of Secrets and would have been quite good. Obsidat, not so good. Man, we were just so far away from a removal spell here. Between the Charticourse and then these two, and then mill 2 and draw 1, we still weren't finding one. I guess we only have 5, which isn't a ton, but really only needed the 1 once I have the discard spells. Wasn't able to apply a lot of pressure here. I think it's like sort of came together. We were in the game. They just drew the Saheeli with their second copy. They drew 2 copies of both combo pieces. I guess they saw a bunch of extra cards off of this, so it's not like they only saw 18 cards. They saw close to half their deck and saw 2 of each, so that makes sense. I just didn't quite see what I needed. And really, yeah, the Inquisition instead of Thoughtseize play really punished me. I think I would have had a lot more time to set up. Maybe would have just been able to hard cast this Obsidat. A lot of different options. Okay. Yeah. I mean, that's just how it goes sometimes. I think I made one judgment call that's not even necessarily bad. I think if I knew that they had Bloodbraid Elf in their deck, I would have Thoughtseized for sure because I wasn't under a lot of pressure, but I can probably expect that they have other good cards, and obviously the potential of taking a Guardian there is also a good payoff. Who knows if I even win if I do that too, because I still don't find a removal spell for several turns. But I definitely have more looks at it and can potentially just delver them out, although the Reflector Mages probably stop that from realistically happening in time. Interesting deck from their side. I've seen some different Saheeli lists. Mostly I've seen Jeskai recently, like Wall of Omens and things. I've seen some 4C ones, but I don't think I can remember one with like Voice, Reflector Mage, Bloodbraid. It's all these really powerful creatures, a lot of which are good with Felidar Guardian as well, and good with Saheeli to copy. So definitely an interesting list for my opponent, and one that I think will lead to a lot of interesting games in this matchup, because I'm like a mid-range control deck. They're like a mid-range aggro deck. They've got this combo I've got to worry about. I've got graveyard elements they have to worry about. So a lot of different things going on in this matchup, but the reality was I just wasn't able to assemble enough disruption for the combo. And if that's the case, then they're just going to run you over, which is what happened. So hope you enjoyed watching that one, and you can come back and see me on Friday. Bye.